Have you ever found yourself drowning in a sea of bizarre terms and concepts in the world of pseudoscience? Welcome to Hiramcast, and in today's first ever Iceberg video on this channel, we're diving headfirst into the wild and wacky world of pseudoscience. From astrological alchemy at the top to quantum crystal healing at the bottom, we're decoding the crazy terminologies. And actually, before diving in, consider subscribing. It's free and you can undo it at any time. Now, without further ado, let's get into the first tier's entry. Astrology is a belief system that suggests a connection between the positions and movements of celestial bodies, such as planets and stars, and events on Earth, including human life and personality traits. Rooted in ancient civilizations, astrology has evolved into various traditions, with the most prominent being Western, Indian, and Chinese astrology. Western astrology, based on the zodiac, divides the sky into 12 astrological signs, each associated with specific personality traits and characteristics. Indian astrology, or Vedic astrology, incorporates a broader range of elements, including the lunar nodes and planetary periods. Chinese astrology revolves around the 12-year cycle, with each year associated with an animal sign. Astrology has faced skepticism from the scientific community, as its principles lack empirical evidence. Critics argue that astrological predictions are based on vague statements that can apply to anyone, a phenomenon known as the Forer effect. Nevertheless, astrology remains popular, with horoscopes and astrological consultations being widely sought after. After all, who wouldn't want to blame Mercury retrograde for their burnt toast or credit a celestial alignment for finding the last cookie in the jar? The chemtrail conspiracy theory is a controversial belief that suggests contrails left by aircraft are intentional releases of harmful substances rather than mere water vapor. The theory posits that these alleged chemtrails are part of a secret government agenda with varied purposes, such as weather modification, population control, or even mind-altering effects. The origins of the conspiracy trace back to the 1990s, and the conspiracy has since spread through online forums and social media. Scientific consensus strongly rejects the chemtrail theory, attributing contrails to the normal condensation of water vapor in aircraft engine exhaust. Various government agencies and scientific organizations have debunked the claims, asserting that chemtrails pose no threat to public health or the environment. Despite the debunking efforts, the chemtrail conspiracy theory persists among a subset of the population. There are broader implications of such unfounded beliefs, including potential public mistrust in scientific institutions and the impact on policy discussions related to climate change and aviation. Climate change denial refers to the rejection or downplaying of scientific consensus on anthropogenic climate change. It is characterized by the skepticism or disbelief in the idea that human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels, contribute significantly to global warming. Denialists often challenge the validity of climate science, dispute temperature data, and question the severity and urgency of climate change impacts. The phenomenon is influenced by various factors, including political ideologies, economic interests, and a distrust of scientific institutions. Some deny climate change due to concerns about potential policy implications, such as regulations that might impact industries. Despite overwhelming scientific evidence supporting climate change, denial continues to exist, hindering efforts to address and mitigate its consequences. Efforts to combat climate change denial involve education, communication, and promoting policies that address environmental sustainability. The issue remains a significant barrier to global cooperation in addressing the urgent challenges posed by climate change. Creationism is a belief system that posits a supernatural or divine origin for the universe and living beings. It contrasts with evolutionary theories that explain the development of life through natural processes over time. There are various forms of creationism, including young Earth creationism, which asserts a literal interpretation of religious texts, suggesting that the Earth is relatively young, around 6,000 to 10,000 years old, and that living species were created in their current form by a divine entity. Intelligent design is another variant of creationism, which argues that certain features of living organisms are best explained by an intelligent cause rather than natural selection. The debate between creationism and evolution has been ongoing for many years, often involving legal battles over the teaching of creationist ideas in public schools. In the United States, court decisions have generally ruled against the inclusion of creationism in science education, affirming the separation of church and state. Eugenics is a controversial and historically significant concept rooted in the belief that the human species can be improved through selective breeding. The term was coined by Sir Francis Galton in the late 19th century, and the movement gained traction in the early 20th century. Eugenicists argued for promoting desirable traits in the human population while discouraging or eliminating perceived undesirable traits. This often involved advocating for policies such as sterilization, immigration restrictions, and even involuntary euthanasia. During the early 20th century, eugenics found support in various countries, including the United States and parts of Europe. However, its association with the atrocities of the German regime during World War II led to a decline in its popularity after the war. The use of eugenics principles to justify racial and ethnic superiority and discrimination has led to a widespread condemnation of the movement. Today, eugenics is widely discredited and considered unethical due to its association with human rights and individual freedoms violations. The legacy of eugenics serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of using scientific theories to justify discriminatory practices in the pursuit of a perceived improved human population. Naturopathy is a holistic approach to healthcare that emphasizes the body's natural ability to heal itself through the use of natural remedies and lifestyle interventions. Rooted in traditional healing practices and modern scientific knowledge, naturopathy seeks to address the underlying causes of illness rather than merely treating symptoms. Central to naturopathic philosophy is the belief in the body's inherent ability to maintain and restore health. Naturopathic practitioners employ a variety of therapies, including herbal medicine, nutritional counseling, hydrotherapy, and physical manipulation to support the body's healing processes. Lifestyle modifications such as dietary changes and stress management are integral components of naturopathic treatment plans. Naturopathy also emphasizes the concept of vitalism, the idea that there is a vital force or energy within the body that plays a crucial role in maintaining health. Practitioners aim to support and enhance this vital force through natural interventions. Critics argue that the scientific basis of some naturopathic treatments is limited, and the field has faced skepticism within the medical community. However, proponents highlight the personalized and holistic approach of naturopathy, focusing on preventive care and patient education. As with any healthcare approach, individuals considering naturopathy should consult with qualified practitioners and integrate these practices into a comprehensive healthcare plan. The New World Order conspiracy theory posits the existence of a secretive and powerful global elite aiming to establish a singular, authoritarian world government. Rooted in historical events and political changes, proponents of this theory argue that influential groups often linked to finance, politics, and technology manipulate world events to consolidate power. The alleged goal is to control economies, governments, and ultimately shape a new world order favoring their interests. Conspiracy theorists often cite organizations like the Illuminati, Freemasons, or Bilderberg Group as key players orchestrating the New World Order. They claim that these groups operate behind the scenes, influencing major geopolitical decisions and events. The theory gained momentum during the 20th century, fueled by distrust in government, institutions, globalization fears, and rapid technological advancements. Critics dismiss the New World Order conspiracy as baseless and lacking concrete evidence. They argue that the world's complexity and diversity make it unlikely for a singular, all-encompassing group to control global affairs. While the conspiracy theory persists in various forms, mainstream scholars and experts generally reject its validity, emphasizing the need for critical thinking and evidence-based analysis in understanding global power dynamics. Imagine a group so clandestine that even your neighbor's cat is part of the grand plan. Psychoanalysis, developed by Sigmund Freud in the late 19th century, is a comprehensive psychological theory and therapeutic approach aimed at exploring the unconscious mind's influence on behavior. Rooted in Freud's belief that unconscious conflicts shape human behavior, psychoanalysis delves into the depths of the mind to uncover repressed thoughts and emotions. The process involves free association, dream analysis, and transference, where patients project their feelings onto the analyst. Freud's structural model of the psyche comprises the ID, ego, and superego, representing primal instincts, reality-based decision-making, and moral conscience, respectively. The Oedipus complex, another pivotal concept, highlights the unconscious conflict arising during a child's psychosexual development. Critics argue that psychoanalysis lacks empirical evidence, but its impact on psychology and therapy is undeniable. It laid the foundation for various therapeutic approaches, influencing the development of psychodynamic and humanistic theories. While not without controversy, psychoanalysis has shaped our understanding of the human mind and contributed to the broader landscape of psychological thought, influencing disciplines beyond psychology, including literature, art, and cultural studies. Dowsing, also known as divining or water witching, is a practice that involves using a tool, typically a forked stick or metal rods, to locate underground water, minerals, or other hidden substances. While its origins are difficult to pinpoint, dowsing has been employed for centuries and is deeply rooted in various cultures. Practitioners of dowsing, also known as dowsers, claim to be able to detect the presence of water or minerals by holding the dowsing tool and walking over the ground. The tool supposedly reacts in response to the hidden substances, pointing downward or moving in a specific direction. Despite a lack of scientific evidence supporting its efficacy, dowsing has persisted and is often used in rural areas to locate water water sources for wells. The phenomenon of dowsing has been met with skepticism from the scientific community, as controlled experiments have failed to demonstrate its reliability. Skeptics attribute the perceived success of dowsers to a psychological effect known as the ideomotor response, wherein subtle movements are unconsciously made by the dowser. Despite skepticism, dowsing remains a part of some cultural and folk practices, blending tradition, belief, and the quest for resources beneath the Earth's surface. The moon landing conspiracy theories revolve around the idea that the United States Apollo moon landings from 1969 to 1972 were faked, with skeptics suggesting that the entire event was an elaborate hoax staged by NASA. Proponents of these theories often point to perceived anomalies in the photographs and videos, questioning the authenticity of the lunar landings. Some claim that the American government staged the missions to assert dominance in the space race against the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Despite the overwhelming evidence supporting the reality of the moon landings, conspiracy theories persist, fueled by skepticism, misinformation, and a general distrust in government narratives. Scientists and experts have consistently debunked these claims, emphasizing the extensive documentation, technological advancements, and the testimonies of thousands of people involved in the Apollo missions. In the realm of conspiracy theories, the moon landing hoaxes stand out as a testament to human curiosity and the propensity to question official narratives. However, these theories ultimately lack empirical support and are widely regarded as pseudoscientific. The moon landing conspiracy is without a doubt one giant leap for skepticism, but an even bigger leap into the realm of intergalactic absurdity. Hypnosis, a psychological phenomenon with a rich history, involves a trance-like state where individuals become highly suggestible. This altered state of consciousness has been utilized for therapeutic and entertainment purposes. In a therapeutic setting, hypnosis is often employed to address various conditions, from pain management to breaking unwanted habits. The process typically begins with induction, where the subject is guided into a relaxed state. Once in this trance, the hypnotist can suggest changes in perception, sensation, emotion, or behavior. Despite its portrayal in popular media, hypnosis does not involve mind control. Rather, it taps into the power of suggestion and the mind's ability to focus. Hypnosis has roots in ancient civilizations, but its formal study began in the late 18th century. Over the years, it has gained acceptance in medical and psychological circles. Theories abound regarding the mechanisms behind hypnosis, with some attributing its effects to altered brain activity and others to the power of suggestion. In the entertainment realm, stage hypnotists captivate audiences by orchestrating amusing scenarios with willing participants. These shows often highlight the quirky and unexpected ways in which individuals respond to suggestions under hypnosis. Cryptozoology is a field of study that investigates and searches for animals that are reported to exist based on anecdotal evidence, folklore, or other unverified sources. It focuses on creatures commonly referred to as cryptids, which are animals that are rumored to exist but have not been scientifically proven. These elusive beings range from the famous Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot to lesser-known entities like the Chupacabra and Mothman. Cryptozoologists employ a multidisciplinary approach, drawing on elements of zoology, folklore, mythology, and cultural studies to analyze and interpret reported sightings and eyewitness accounts. The field has gained both interest and skepticism within the scientific community, due to its speculative nature and the lack of concrete evidence supporting the existence of many cryptids. While cryptozoology often operates on the fringes of mainstream science, some argue that it serves as a valuable lens through which to explore the relationship between humans and the natural world. Critics, on the other hand, contend that it blurs the line between scientific inquiry and pseudoscience. Regardless of the ongoing debate, cryptozoology continues to captivate the public's imagination, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and expeditions in the quest to uncover the mysteries of these elusive and enigmatic creatures. The Simpsons predictions phenomenon refers to the uncanny ability of the long-running animated television series The Simpsons to seemingly predict real-world events with surprising accuracy. Created by Matt Groening, the show first premiered in 1989 and has since gained fame for its satirical take on various aspects of society, including politics, technology, and pop culture. What makes this phenomenon intriguing is the instances where the show appears to have foretold events that occurred years after the episodes aired. Examples include the prediction of Donald Trump's presidency, depicted in a 2000 episode, the Ebola outbreak, the faulty voting machines in the 2008 US election, and the discovery of the Higgs boson particle. The explanations for these so-called while predictions vary. Some argue it's mere coincidence given the show's extensive catalog of episodes and wide-ranging satire. Others attribute it to the writer's keen observations and understanding of societal trends. Additionally, the show often explores timeless themes that remain relevant over the years. While some instances may be coincidental, the sheer number of accurate predictions has fueled speculation and fascination among fans and conspiracy theorists alike. The Simpsons predictions phenomenon has become a cultural talking point, showcasing the show's unique ability to reflect and, in some cases, seemingly anticipate the trajectory of the real world. Alright, now we're on to Tier 2, which starts with acupuncture. Acupuncture is a traditional Chinese medical practice that has gained global recognition for its therapeutic effects. Rooted in ancient Chinese philosophy, acupuncture involves the insertion of thin needles into specific points on the body, aiming to restore the balance of vital energy and promote healing. These acupuncture points are believed to be connected by pathways or meridians through which the energy flows. The needles are thought to stimulate these points, regulating the vital energy flow and restoring harmony to the body. While the mechanisms underlying acupuncture's efficacy are not fully understood in Western scientific terms, research suggests that it may influence various physiological processes such as the release of neurotransmitters and the modulation of inflammatory responses. Acupuncture has been used to address a wide range of conditions, including pain management, stress reduction, and the treatment of various ailments, from musculoskeletal disorders to respiratory and digestive issues. In recent years, acupuncture has gained acceptance in mainstream medicine as a complementary therapy. It is often integrated into treatment plans for conditions like chronic pain, nausea associated with chemotherapy, and certain neurological disorders. The practice continues to evolve, with ongoing research exploring its potential benefits and mechanisms to a broader understanding of its role in healthcare. HIV/AIDS denialism refers to the persistent and unfounded rejection or distortion of scientific evidence regarding the existence of the human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, and its role in causing acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, or AIDS. Denialists typically dispute the established consensus within the scientific and medical communities that HIV is the causative agent of AIDS. Originating in the 1980s, denialist movements have had global implications, influencing public perceptions, policy decisions, and individual choices related to HIV/AIDS. Denialists often promote conspiracy theories, asserting that HIV is either harmless or that it does not exist, attributing AIDS to other causes such as lifestyle, malnutrition, or environmental factors. This denialism has had severe consequences, as it has led to the promotion of unproven alternative treatments and the discouragement of antiretroviral therapy, the scientifically proven and life-saving treatment for HIV/AIDS. South Africa in particular faced a significant impact from denialism during the late 20th and early 21st centuries, contributing to delayed and inadequate responses to the HIV/AIDS epidemic. Globally, efforts to combat HIV/AIDS have been hindered by denialist ideologies, highlighting the critical importance of accurate scientific information in shaping public health policies and interventions. Overcoming HIV/AIDS denialism involves not only addressing misinformation but also fostering a broader understanding of the devastating consequences of this perspective on public health and individual well-being. Aromatherapy is a holistic healing practice that utilizes the aromatic compounds of essential oils to enhance a person's physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Rooted in ancient civilizations, this alternative therapy has evolved into a popular and widely practiced method of promoting health and relaxation. Essential oils extracted from plants are chosen for their therapeutic properties and are often inhaled or applied topically. The practice of aromatherapy is based on the belief that the olfactory system, linked to the brain, plays a crucial role in regulating emotions and influencing the body's physiological responses. Essential oils can be diffused into the air, added to bath water, or incorporated into massage oils and creams. Each oil carries distinct fragrances and purported health benefits. For example, lavender is renowned for its calming effects, while eucalyptus is associated with respiratory relief. Beyond its potential psychological and emotional impacts, aromatherapy is embraced for its role in addressing a variety of physical ailments, including headaches, insomnia, and stress. While scientific evidence supporting the efficacy of aromatherapy is not universally conclusive, many individuals find comfort and relief through its use, contributing to its integration into mainstream wellness practices and its continued popularity as a complementary approach to traditional medicine. Colloidal silver, a suspension of submicroscopic silver particles in a liquid, has been historically promoted for various medical uses, although its efficacy and safety are subjects of ongoing debate. Advocates claim that colloidal silver possesses antimicrobial properties, attributing it to the ability of silver ions to inhibit bacterial and fungal growth. This belief has led to its utilization in alternative medicine for treating conditions ranging from infections to skin disorders. Despite its long-lasting use, the medical community generally cautions against the ingestion or application of colloidal silver due to potential adverse effects. Prolonged use may result in a condition called argyria, characterized by the skin turning bluish-gray due to silver accumulation. The FDA and other health agencies have issued warnings about the potential risks associated with colloidal silver, emphasizing the lack of scientific evidence supporting its safety and efficacy. While silver has known antimicrobial properties and is employed in certain medical contexts, such as wound dressings, the use of colloidal silver as a panacea for a wide range of ailments remains controversial. Researchers and health experts emphasize the importance of evidence-based medicine and caution individuals against self-prescribing colloidal silver for medical purposes without proper scientific validation. Crystal healing is a holistic practice rooted in the belief that certain crystals possess unique energies that can positively influence a person's physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Proponents of crystal healing argue that different crystals emit distinct vibrations that interact with the body's energy centers, known as chakras, to promote balance and healing. This alternative therapy draws inspiration from ancient civilizations, where crystals were often revered for their purported mystical properties. Adherents of crystal healing often use a variety of crystals, each thought to have specific attributes and associations. For instance, amethyst is believed to enhance spiritual awareness, while rose quartz is associated with love and compassion. Practitioners may place crystals on or around the body, create crystal grids, or wear them as jewelry to harness their alleged healing energies. Despite its popularity in some alternative health circles, crystal healing lacks scientific support, and skeptics view it as pseudoscience. Critics argue that any perceived benefits may be attributed to a placebo effect or psychological factors. Despite the controversy, crystal healing continues to captivate individuals seeking alternative approaches to wellness, blending spiritual traditions with a contemporary interest in holistic health practices. Cupping therapy is an alternative medical practice with roots dating back thousands of years across various cultures, including Chinese, Egyptian, and Middle Eastern traditions. It involves placing cups on the skin to create suction, which is believed to mobilize blood flow, promote healing, and alleviate various ailments. The cups can be made out of glass, bamboo, or silicone, and practitioners often use methods such as fire or suction pumps to create the vacuum effect. During a cupping session, the cups are applied to specific points on the body, creating suction that draws the skin and superficial muscle layer into the cup. This suction may result in temporary discoloration or cupping marks, which are not bruises but are caused by the rupture of capillaries beneath the skin. While the therapy is generally considered safe, the intensity of suction and duration of cup placement can vary based on the individual's condition and the practitioner's approach. Proponents of cupping therapy claim that it can address a range of conditions, including pain, inflammation, and stress. However, scientific evidence supporting these claims is limited, and the therapy remains controversial in mainstream medicine. The free energy suppression conspiracy theory suggests that certain individuals or groups are deliberately preventing the development and implementation of free energy technologies. Free energy refers to energy sources that can be harnessed without depleting natural resources, and proponents believe it could revolutionize the way we generate power. The conspiracy theory alleges that powerful entities such as governments or corporations are actively suppressing these technologies to maintain control over the existing energy infrastructure. According to the theory, inventors who have claimed to discover breakthroughs in free energy have faced various obstacles, including legal challenges, financial difficulties, or even threats to their personal safety. Some theorists argue that this suppression is driven by economic interests, as the adoption of free energy could disrupt established energy markets and threaten the profits of traditional energy industries. While the scientific community widely regards the concept of free energy as implausible, the conspiracy theory persists among a subset of individuals who believe in the existence of advanced technologies being concealed from the public. It's important to note that mainstream science and experts generally dismiss the idea of deliberate suppression of free energy technologies, attributing the lack of such technologies to scientific challenges and the laws of physics. So, until our toasters run on perpetual motion, we'll keep paying those electric bills. Homeopathy is a type of alternative medicine that was developed in the late 18th century by Samuel Hahnemann, a German physician. The core principle of homeopathy is like cures like. meaning that a substance that causes symptoms in a healthy person can be used to treat similar symptoms in a sick person. Homeopathic remedies are highly diluted substances, often to the point where no molecules of the original substance remain. Practitioners believe that the water or alcohol retains memory of the substance, and this is what triggers the healing process. Homeopathy aims to stimulate the body's vital force, a hypothetical life energy, to promote self-healing. Treatment involves individualized assessments of a person's physical and emotional state to prescribe specific remedies. These remedies can come from various sources, including plants, minerals, and animals. Despite its popularity in some circles, homeopathy is controversial. Many scientific studies have found it no more effective than a placebo, and its principles conflict with established scientific concepts. Critics argue that any perceived benefits may be due to the placebo effect or the natural course of the illness. In the world of medicine, homeopathy remains a diluted topic, a remedy that, depending on your perspective, might either heal your ailments or leave you thirsting for more scientific evidence. The law of attraction is a belief that suggests positive or negative thoughts bring corresponding experiences into a person's life. According to this concept, focusing on positive thoughts can bring about positive outcomes, while dwelling on negative thoughts may attract unfavorable events. It is rooted in the New Thought movement, a spiritual movement that emerged in the 19th century. Proponents of the law of attraction argue that one's thoughts, feelings, and beliefs have a powerful influence on their reality. They believe that individuals can manifest their desires by maintaining a positive mindset and visualizing their goals. This process involves aligning one's energy with the universe to attract similar energies. Visualization, affirmations, and gratitude are common practices associated with the law of attraction. Supporters often emphasize the importance of maintaining a strong belief in the inevitability of achieving one's goals. Skeptics, on the other hand, criticize the lack of scientific evidence supporting these claims. While the law of attraction has gained popularity through the books like The Secret, its principles remain controversial, with some viewing it as a motivational tool and others questioning its scientific validity. Despite debates, the concept continues to influence personal development and self-help philosophies. So, if you're constantly thinking about your dream job, the universe might just throw in a dash of opportunity and a sprinkle of serendipity, but beware. If you're fixated on the negatives, you might end up attracting more drama than a Shakespearean play. Lobotomy is a medical procedure that was once used to treat mental illnesses, but is now considered outdated and controversial. It involves surgically altering the connections in the brain, specifically the prefrontal cortex, with the aim of relieving symptoms of various psychiatric disorders. The procedure gained popularity in the mid-20th century as a treatment for conditions like schizophrenia, depression, and anxiety when other forms of therapy were limited. However, the outcomes were unpredictable, and patients often experienced significant side effects. The most common form of lobotomy, called a prefrontal lobotomy, involved inserting a surgical instrument into the brain through the eye sockets and severing the connections between the prefrontal cortex and other parts of the brain. This procedure was believed to calm or stabilize patients by reducing emotional intensity. While some patients did experience temporary relief from symptoms, many others faced severe cognitive and emotional impairments, including personality changes and a loss of initiative. As a result, the use of lobotomy declined in the mid-20th century, with the advent of more effective and ethical psychiatric treatments. Today, lobotomy is largely discredited and is viewed as a cautionary tale in the history of mental health treatments. Race science refers to a historical misuse of scientific principles to justify and perpetuate discriminatory beliefs about different human races. This misguided approach emerged in the 19th century and persisted into the 20th century. Advocates of scientific racism wrongly used alleged scientific evidence to support the notion that certain races were superior or inferior to others. Researchers often misapplied concepts from fields such as anthropology, biology, and genetics to make unfounded claims about the intellectual, moral, and physical capabilities of various racial groups. These false ideas fueled racism and were used to legitimize discriminatory practices, including slavery, segregation, and colonialism. One infamous example of scientific racism is the now debunked notion of race science, which posited that physical and mental traits could be linked to a person's race. Today, the term scientific racism serves as a cautionary reminder of the dangers of allowing biased beliefs to influence scientific inquiry, and it underscores the importance of rigorous, unbiased research in understanding human diversity. Trickle-down economics is an economic theory that suggests if the government provides benefits to the wealthy and businesses, the benefits will eventually trickle down to the rest of the population. The idea is that by giving tax breaks and other advantages to the rich, They will invest more, create businesses, and generate jobs, ultimately improving the overall economic situation. The theory assumes that when the wealthy prosper, their success leads to increased spending, job creation, and economic growth, benefiting everyone. Proponents argue that this approach stimulates the economy and helps lift people out of poverty over time. However, critics of trickle-down economics argue that the benefits don't evenly distribute as expected. They claim that instead of trickling down, wealth often concentrates at the top, exacerbating income inequality. Skeptics also point out that tax cuts for the wealthy may not necessarily result in increased investment and job creation as proponents suggest. In practice, the effectiveness of trickle-down economics has been a topic of debate. Some believe it has led to economic growth, while others argue that it has widened the wealth gap. The concept has been influential in shaping economic policies, but its application and impact vary, and the discussion about its merits continues in economic and political circles. A polygraph, often known as a lie detector, is a device designed to detect deception by measuring physiological responses in a person. It operates on the assumption that when a person lies, their body undergoes specific physiological changes that can be measured. These changes typically include alteration in heart rate, blood pressure, respiratory rate, and skin conductivity. The polygraph test involves attaching sensors to the person being examined, which monitor and record these physiological changes while the individual answers a series of questions. The examiner then analyzes the data to identify patterns associated with deceptive responses. It's important to note that while the polygraph is widely used in certain contexts, its accuracy and reliability have been the subject of debate. The results of a polygraph test are not definitive proof of deception, and they are often considered as additional information rather than conclusive evidence. Due to concerns about the accuracy of polygraph tests, they are not always admissible in legal proceedings. Nevertheless, they continue to be used in various settings, including criminal investigations, pre-employment screenings, and security clearance processes. Critics argue that factors such as anxiety or fear can influence the test results, making it challenging to determine whether a person is genuinely deceptive or simply experiencing stress. Christian Science is a religious movement founded in the United States in the 19th century by Mary Baker Eddy. At its core is the belief in spiritual healing through prayer and a deep understanding of Christian teachings. The movement emerged in response to Eddy's personal experiences with illnesses and her exploration of the Bible for answers. Christian Scientists believe that sickness is rooted in a misunderstanding of God and can be cured through prayer and spiritual understanding. They don't typically rely on conventional medical treatments, but instead turn to prayer and a comprehensive understanding of God's nature as a healer. Central to their beliefs is the idea that spiritual understanding can bring about physical healing. The movement has its own church, the First Church of Christ Scientist, and adherents often gather in local congregations. The primary religious text is Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, written by Mary Baker Eddy. Christian Science has faced criticism and controversy, particularly concerning its rejection of conventional medical practices in favor of spiritual healing. Despite this, it continues to be a distinct religious movement with followers worldwide, emphasizing the role of spirituality in health and well-being. The political compass is a tool used to understand and visualize political ideologies in a two-dimensional space. Imagine a graph with two axes. The horizontal axis represents economic ideology, ranging from left collectivism to right individualism, while the vertical axis represents social ideology, ranging from authoritarianism at the top to libertarianism at the bottom. On the economic axis, the left side generally supports more government intervention in the economy to reduce inequality, while the right side advocates for less government involvement and emphasizes individual economic freedom. On the social axis, the top reflects an authoritarian approach, where strong government control is favored for social order, while the bottom represents a libertarian approach, emphasizing personal freedoms and limited government intrusion. People or political ideologies can be plotted on this graph based on their views. For instance, a political figure who supports strong government control over both the economy and social aspects might be placed in the top left quadrant, indicating an authoritarian and collectivist stance. In contrast, someone who advocates for minimal government intervention in both economic and social matters would be placed in the bottom right quadrant, representing a libertarian and individualistic perspective. The political compass provides a nuanced perspective beyond the traditional left-right spectrum, allowing for a more comprehensive understanding of political beliefs. The Flat Earth Conspiracy. In simple terms, some people believe that the Earth is flat, not round as widely accepted. These modern flat earthers reject the scientific consensus and assert that evidence supporting a spherical Earth is part of a global conspiracy. Their arguments often involve questioning the validity of satellite images, space exploration, and scientific measurements. Some flat earthers claim that the horizon always appears level and does not curve, disputing the idea of a curved Earth. They also question the physics of gravity, proposing alternative explanations for phenomena like objects falling. Despite the overwhelming scientific evidence supporting a spherical Earth, the Flat Earth movement has gained traction in recent years, partly due to social media and online communities where like-minded individuals share their beliefs. In a world where GPS technology, satellite imagery, and simple observations from high-altitude flights are readily available, the Flat Earth theory provides a humorous escape from the overwhelming evidence that supports our round and not-so-flat planet. The Altaic languages are a proposed language family that includes several language groups spoken in a vast region of Eurasia. While there is ongoing debate among linguists about the validity of the Altaic language family, it is commonly suggested to comprise three main branches: Turkic, Mongolic, and Tungusic. Turkic languages. These languages are spoken by Turkic people across a wide area, including Turkey, Central Asia, and parts of Siberia. Turkish, Uzbek, and Kazakh are examples of Turkic languages. Mongolic languages are spoken primarily in Mongolia and certain regions of China and Russia. Mongolic languages include Mongolian and Buryat. Tungusic languages are spoken in Siberia and northeastern China. Notable languages in this group include Evenki and Manju. While the Altaic hypothesis suggests a common origin for these language groups, it is important to note that this classification remains a topic of scholarly discussion and not all linguists agree on the existence of the Altaic language family. Some argue that the similarities among these languages may be due to contact and diffusion rather than a shared genetic relationship. Well, now we're getting into the obscure depths of Tier 3 that starts with ancient astronauts. The idea of ancient astronauts suggests that extraterrestrial beings visited Earth in the distant past and influenced human civilizations. Proponents of this theory believe that these advanced beings played a role in the development of ancient cultures and technologies. The concept gained popularity through books and TV shows. According to this hypothesis, ancient civilizations may have interpreted the presence of these extraterrestrial visitors as gods or divine beings. Supporters point to various ancient artifacts and structures as potential evidence of advanced technology beyond the capabilities of early human societies. For example, some propose that the construction of pyramids, megalithic structures, and ancient artworks may have been guided or assisted by these ancient astronauts. They argue that such feats were too sophisticated for the knowledge and tools available to humans at the time. However, mainstream archaeologists and scientists reject the ancient astronaut theory, attributing the accomplishments of ancient civilizations to human ingenuity, resourcefulness, and gradual development of knowledge and skills over time. Attachment therapy is an approach to treating emotional and behavioral issues in children, focusing on enhancing the parent-child relationship. It's grounded in the theory that secure attachments between children and their caregivers are crucial for healthy development. The therapy aims to address attachment difficulties that may arise from early life experiences such as neglect or trauma. In attachment therapy, caregivers actively participate in the therapeutic process. Techniques often include play, physical contact, and other activities that promote bonding. The goal is to create a secure and trusting connection between the child and caregiver, fostering emotional well-being. However, it's important to note that there is controversy and criticism surrounding attachment therapy. Some professionals and organizations express concern about certain techniques used, arguing that they may be inappropriate or even harmful. There is a lack of empirical evidence supporting the efficacy and safety of some methods associated with attachment therapy. Energy medicine is a holistic approach to health that involves the use of subtle energies to promote well-being. It is based on the idea that the body has an energy field that can be influenced for healing. Practitioners of energy medicine use various techniques to balance and manipulate this energy to address physical, emotional, and spiritual issues. One key concept in energy medicine is that disruptions or imbalances in the body's energy field can lead to illness or other health problems. Practitioners aim to identify and correct these imbalances using methods such as touch, sound, or intention. Some common forms of energy medicine include acupuncture, Reiki, and Qigong. While energy medicine is not widely accepted by conventional Western medicine, many people find it beneficial for managing stress, reducing pain, and improving overall well-being. Research in this field is ongoing and some studies suggest positive effects, but more evidence is needed to fully understand and integrate energy medicine into mainstream healthcare. Flood geology is a concept that suggests Earth's geological features, such as rock layers and landscapes, were primarily formed by a massive catastrophic flood. This idea contrasts with mainstream scientific understanding, which is based on principles like uniformitarianism, stating that geological processes occur gradually over long periods. According to flood geology proponents, A global flood, often linked to biblical accounts like Noah's Ark, rapidly shaped the Earth's surface. They argue that the distinct layers of rocks and fossils found worldwide can be attributed to the single cataclysmic event rather than gradual processes over millions of years. Critics of flood geology point out several scientific challenges, including the lack of substantial evidence supporting a global flood and the ability of such an event to account for the complexity of Earth's geological features. The mainstream scientific community widely rejects flood geology due to its inconsistencies with established geological principles and the extensive evidence supporting the slow, continuous process of geological change over time. The lunar effect is the idea that the moon's phases influence human behavior and natural phenomena. This belief dates back centuries and has cultural roots, but scientific evidence supporting its validity is limited. Some propose that the gravitational pull of the moon affects Earth and its inhabitants, similar to how it influences ocean tides. Despite various studies, there is no consensus among scientists regarding the lunar effect's existence. Some research suggests correlations between lunar phases and certain activities, such as crime rates or psychiatric hospital admissions. But these findings are often inconclusive or disputed. Scientifically, it is challenging to establish a direct causal relationship between the moon and human behavior due to the complexity of factors involved. Cultural myths and traditions have contributed to the persistence of the lunar effect belief. People have associated the moon with mysticism and folklore, fostering a connection between the lunar phases and various aspects of life. While the moon undeniably plays a role in the Earth's natural rhythms, the extent of its impact on human behavior remains uncertain. Lysenkoism was a controversial scientific ideology that emerged in the Soviet Union during the mid-20th century. Named after the biologist Trofim Lysenko, this concept rejected traditional genetics in favor of Lamarckism, which is a discredited theory that traits acquired during an organism's lifetime could be inherited by the next generation. Lysenko argued that crops and plants could be improved through environmentally induced changes and that these acquired characteristics would be passed on to future generations. However, this contradicted the established principles of genetics, which were widely accepted in the scientific community. Lysenkoism became the official doctrine in the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin's rule, leading to the suppression of dissenting voices in the scientific community. Scientists who opposed Lysenko's ideas faced persecution, and research based on traditional genetics was marginalized. The consequences of Lysenkoism were severe, as agricultural practices influenced by these ideas resulted in widespread crop failures and food shortages. Eventually, Lysenko's theories were discredited, and traditional genetics was reinstated in the scientific mainstream. The episode serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of politically driven interference in scientific research and the importance of adhering to sound scientific principles. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or MBTI, is a personality assessment tool used to understand and categorize individual differences in how people perceive the world and make decisions. Developed by Isabel Briggs Myers and Catherine Cook Briggs, the MBTI is based on the theories of Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. The assessment classifies individuals into 16 personality types, each identified by a combination of 4 dichotomies: extraversion or introversion, sensing or intuition, thinking or feeling, and judging or perceiving. These dichotomies reflect preferences in how individuals direct their energy, gather information, make decisions, and deal with the outside world. For example, someone with an ESTJ personality type is categorized as extroverted, sensing, thinking, and judging. This designation provides insights into their social orientation, information processing style, decision-making approach, and organizational skills. While the MBTI is widely used in various settings, including workplaces and educational institutions, it has faced criticism for its lack of scientific validity and reliability. Some argue that personality is more fluid and complex than the MBTI suggests, and individual traits may not neatly fit into predefined categories. Despite these criticisms, the MBTI remains a popular tool for self-reflection and team-building exercises. Young Earth creationism is a belief system that asserts the Earth is relatively young, typically around 6 to 10,000 years old, based on a literal interpretation of the Bible. Adherents of this view reject the scientific consensus of the age of the Earth, which is estimated to be about 4.5 billion years based on various scientific methods. According to young Earth creationism, the Earth's age is calculated by adding up the genealogies provided in the Bible and interpreting the 6 days of creation in the book of Genesis as literal 24-hour days. This perspective rejects the idea of evolution and argues that all living organisms were created by a divine being in their present form. Young Earth creationists often believe in a global flood, as described in the theory of Noah's Ark. They assert that this event is responsible for geological features such as fossil layers and the formation of the Grand Canyon. It's important to note that young Earth creationism is a religious belief and not a scientific theory. The majority of the scientific community accepts the evidence supporting the theory of evolution and an ancient Earth based on a wide range of disciplines, including geology, astronomy, and biology. The debate between young Earth creationism and mainstream science is a long-standing and complex one, reflecting differing views on the relationship between faith and scientific understanding. Parapsychology is a field of study that explores mysterious and unexplained phenomena related to the human mind. Scientists and researchers in parapsychology investigate things like telepathy, clairvoyance, psychokinesis, and precognition. These phenomena are often referred to as psychic or paranormal experiences. Telepathy involves the transmission of thoughts or feelings between individuals without using the traditional five senses. Clairvoyance is the ability to gain information about an object or event without direct interaction. Psychokinesis is the supposed ability to influence or move objects with the mind, while precognition involves predicting future events before they occur. Parapsychologists use scientific methods to study these phenomena, although the field is often considered controversial within the scientific community. Some people believe in the existence of psychic abilities, while others remain skeptical due to a lack of consistent and replicable evidence. Despite the skepticism, parapsychology continues to intrigue and captivate individuals interested in exploring the mysteries of the human mind and its potential beyond conventional understanding. Researchers in this field aim to uncover the scientific basis, if any, behind these extraordinary experiences and their implications for our understanding of consciousness and the nature of reality. Dianetics is a book and a set of ideas created by a science fiction writer, Ron Hubbard. It talks about the mind and how negative experiences, called engrams, can affect a person. The main idea is to get rid of these engrams through a process called auditing, which involves discussing past experiences to find and eliminate negative emotions attached to them. According to Dianetics, the mind consists of two parts: the analytical mind, which thinks, and the reactive mind, which stores engrams. Engrams are said to cause physical and emotional problems. By using auditing techniques, individuals aim to become clear, which means they have eliminated these engrams and achieved a state of mental purity. Dianetics also forms the basis of the Church of Scientology, a controversial religious movement founded by Hubbard. In Scientology, followers use Dianetics principles alongside other spiritual practices. Critics argue that Dianetics lacks scientific evidence and consider it a pseudoscience. Despite controversy, Dianetics has gained followers and has influenced the development of Scientology, which has attracted attention for its secretive nature, aggressive legal tactics, and high-profile celebrity members. Alright, now we're on to Tier 4, starting with ear candling. Ear candling is a traditional practice that involves inserting a hollow candle into the ear canal and lighting the other end. Despite its long history, there is limited scientific evidence supporting its effectiveness, and it is generally considered ineffective and potentially risky by medical professionals. During ear candling, a person lies on their side and the pointed end of a cone-shaped candle is placed into the ear. The other end is then lit, and the heat is supposed to create a vacuum, drawing out earwax and other impurities. Proponents claim various health benefits, including improved hearing and relief from conditions like sinus infections. However, research suggests that ear candling is ineffective in removing earwax and may even push it further into the ear canal. Additionally, the procedure poses risks such as burns, candle wax dripping into the ear, and perforation of the eardrum. Many health authorities and experts advise against ear candling, recommending safer alternatives like eardrops or professional earwax removal by a healthcare provider. Iridology is a practice that involves studying the iris, the colored part of the eye, to gain insights into a person's health. The basic idea is that the iris is like a map, with different areas corresponding to different parts of the body. Practitioners called iridologists believe that by examining the patterns, colors, and other characteristics of the iris, they can identify potential health issues and imbalances. The concept behind iridology is rooted in the belief that changes in the iris can reflect changes in the body's organs and tissues. Proponents claim that specific marks, discolorations, or other features in the iris can indicate indicate various health conditions or predispositions. The practice of iridology involves using a specialized magnifying tool called an iriscope to closely examine the iris. Practitioners may look for signs such as spots, lines, or color variations. These observations are then used to make assessments about the individual's overall health and potential areas of concern. Critics argue that there is no scientific evidence to support the claims made by iridologists. They emphasize that the patterns in the iris are unique to each individual and do not necessarily reveal information about their internal health. Additionally, the practice is considered subjective and lacks standardized methods. The geocentric model was an ancient way of understanding the cosmos, where Earth was believed to be the center of the universe. This idea was prevalent for centuries, and many people adhered to it due to religious and contemporary beliefs. In simple terms, the geocentric model suggested that the sun, moon, stars, and planets all revolved around Earth. This concept was deeply rooted in religious teachings and was widely accepted in various cultures. Religious authorities saw the Earth as a special creation and believed that placing it at the center of the universe reflected its significance in the eyes of a divine creator. Over time, this geocentric view faced challenges as scientific observations and evidence emerged. The heliocentric model, proposing that the sun was at the center with planets, including Earth, revolving around it, gained traction. Scientists like Nicolaus Copernicus and Galileo Galilei contributed to the shift in understanding. While the geocentric model lost its scientific standing, remnants of its influence persisted in religious and cultural contexts. Some religious traditions continued to uphold the geocentric view based on scriptural interpretations. However, in the broader scientific community, the heliocentric model became widely accepted, leading to a fundamental shift in our understanding of the cosmos. Psychic dentistry refers to unconventional or alternative practices in oral health. Some individuals believe in the connection between a person's overall well-being, including their dental health, and psychic or spiritual energies. This perspective suggests that psychic phenomena may influence dental conditions or that alternative approaches beyond traditional dentistry can contribute to oral health. It's essential to note that these ideas often fall outside the mainstream scientific understanding of dentistry, which is primarily based on empirical evidence and established medical principles. Conventional dentistry focuses on proven methods of diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of oral health issues. While some people may explore complementary or alternative practices for holistic well-being, it's crucial to approach such ideas with a critical mindset. Quantum healing is an alternative approach to health and wellness that draws inspiration from quantum physics, a branch of science that explores the behavior of matter and energy at the smallest scales. This concept suggests a connection between the mind and the body at the quantum level. According to quantum healing proponents, the human body is influenced by quantum fields or subtle energy forces. These fields are believed to interact with our thoughts and emotions, influencing our overall well-being. Advocates of quantum healing argue that by altering our thought patterns and emotions, we can positively impact these quantum fields and, consequently, our physical health. One key idea in quantum healing is the role of consciousness in shaping our reality. It suggests that our thoughts and intentions can have a direct impact on our health, and by aligning our consciousness with positive and healing energies, we can promote well-being. It's important to note that quantum healing is considered a controversial and speculative concept within the scientific community. Many scientists and healthcare professionals question its scientific validity, as it often lacks empirical evidence and rigorous testing. Squaring the circle is an ancient mathematical problem that intrigued thinkers for centuries. The challenge is to construct a square with the same area as a given circle using only a compass and a straight edge. In simple terms, it means finding a way to create a square that has the same amount of space inside it as a circle, using only basic geometric tools. The problem dates back to ancient Greece, where mathematicians like Anaxagoras and Hippocrates attempted to solve it. However, it was proven to be impossible using the specified tools by the 19th century mathematician Ferdinand von Lindemann. He demonstrated that the task was fundamentally unsolvable, and this conclusion is known as the Lindemann-Weierstrass theorem. The challenge stems from the fact that pi, the mathematical constant representing the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter, is a transcendental number. Transcendental numbers cannot be the root of any non-zero polynomial equation with rational coefficients. Lindemann's proof showed that constructing a square equal in area to a circle would require the squaring of the circle's radius, which, due to the transcendental nature of pi, is not achievable through compass and straight-edge constructions. In summary, squaring the circle is a captivating mathematical problem that intrigued minds throughout history, but it has proven to be impossible within the constraints of compass and straight-edge constructions. Water has memory. The concept of water memory refers to a controversial and scientifically unproven idea that water has the ability to remember substances that were once dissolved in it, even after those substances are no longer present. This notion gained attention in the late 20th century, primarily through the work of Jacques Benveniste, a French immunologist. Benveniste claimed that water could retain memory of substances, even when diluted to the point where no molecules of the original substance remained. This idea was often cited in discussions about homeopathy, about which I've talked already. However, the scientific community has largely rejected the concept of water memory. Many experiments attempting to replicate Benveniste's findings have failed, and the idea violates well-established principles of chemistry and physics. Water is a simple molecule composed of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. According to conventional scientific understanding, water does not have the capacity to retain memory of substances dissolved in it. The properties of water are well studied and understood through the principles of molecular interactions. So, while water may not have memory in the scientific sense, it certainly has a refreshing ability to quench your thirst, and that's something we can all drink too. Drapetomania was a discredited concept from the 19th century that claimed to be a mental disorder causing enslaved individuals to attempt to escape from captivity. This idea originated during a time when slavery was prevalent in the United States. The term was introduced by a Southern physician named Samuel Cartwright, who asserted that slaves who tried to run away were suffering from drapetomania, a supposed mental illness. Cartwright claimed that this condition could be diagnosed based on observed symptoms, such as a strong desire for freedom and resistance to enslavement. The concept reflects the deeply entrenched biases and justifications that were used to perpetuate the institution of slavery during that period. Modern understanding rejects drapetomania as a legitimate medical diagnosis, recognizing it as a flawed and discriminatory belief that sought to pathologize natural human instincts for freedom and autonomy. The term is now seen as an example of the pseudoscientific justifications that were employed to rationalize oppressive social systems. In summary, drapetomania was an unfounded and prejudiced notion that attempted to medicalize the act of enslaved individuals seeking freedom, reflecting the deeply troubling ideologies of the time. Fortunately, society has progressed beyond such harmful concepts, emphasizing the importance of recognizing the dignity and rights of all individuals. Polywater was a substance that scientists thought they discovered in the 1960s, and it caused quite a stir in the scientific community. They believed it was a new kind of water with unusual properties. Instead of freezing at the usual temperature, like regular water, polywater was thought to remain liquid at much lower temperatures. Scientists first thought they found polywater when they were studying water's behavior in tiny spaces. They observed a substance with a higher density than regular water, leading them to believe it was a unique form of water with special characteristics. However, further investigation revealed that polywater might not be a new type of water after all. It turned out that the experiments were contaminated, and the supposed polywater was a result of impurities in the samples. This discovery led to a decline in interest in polywater, and scientists concluded that it wasn't a distinct substance, but rather a misunderstanding caused by contamination. The polywater incident serves as a cautionary tale in the scientific community, highlighting the importance of rigorous experimentation and verification. It reminds scientists to be cautious of unexpected results and to thoroughly investigate the possibility of contamination before claiming the discovery of a new substance. The hollow Earth concept suggests that the Earth is not a solid sphere, but rather contains a vast empty space within it. According to this idea, there are entrances to this hollow interior at the North and South poles. This concept has been part of various mythologies and pseudoscientific theories throughout history. Some proponents of the hollow Earth theory believe that there is a central sun within the inner world providing light and heat. They propose that an advanced civilization might inhabit this interior, separated from the outer world. The hollow Earth theory has roots in ancient cultures and has been a theme in literature, including works of science fiction. Despite its lack of scientific validity, the concept has captivated the imaginations of some people, leading to the development of various speculative ideas about the Earth's inner realms. While the mainstream scientific understanding is that the Earth is a solid, layered structure, the hollow Earth theory persists as a fascinating and imaginative concept in popular culture. The great man theory suggests that history is shaped by the actions of extraordinary individuals, great men. These exceptional figures, according to the theory, possess innate qualities that set them apart and enable them to influence the course of events significantly. However, this theory has faced criticism and alternative viewpoints. Critics argue that attributing historical changes solely to exceptional individuals oversimplifies complex social, economic, and political dynamics. They emphasize the importance of broader factors such as societal structures, cultural shifts, and collective movements in shaping history. Instead of focusing on a single great man, they propose a more nuanced understanding that considers the interplay of various forces. Moreover, scholars have noted that the great man theory tends to overlook the contributions of women and marginalized groups in history. By highlighting the achievements of specific individuals, it may inadvertently perpetuate biases and reinforce existing power structures. In response to the great man theory, alternative theories like the trait theory and contingency theory have emerged. The trait theory suggests that certain characteristics contribute to effective leadership but doesn't focus on the concept of greatness per se. On the other hand, the contingency theory posits that effective leadership is contingent on various situational factors. In summary, while the great man theory underscores the impact of extraordinary individuals on history, critics argue for a more comprehensive understanding that considers broader societal influences and diverse perspectives. Alternative theories offer nuanced approaches to studying leadership and historical change. Cancel culture is a social phenomenon where individuals, usually public figures, face severe criticism, ostracism, or even professional consequences due to their perceived offensive actions or statements. This widespread practice often takes place on social media platforms and involves a collective effort to cancel or reject the individual in question. The term has gained prominence in recent years as online communities have become powerful tools for public discourse. When someone is targeted by cancel culture, it typically stems from allegations of behavior deemed inappropriate, offensive, or inconsistent with prevailing societal norms. This can range from offensive comments or jokes to more serious accusations of misconduct. Social media users play a significant role in cancel culture by sharing information, expressing their opinions, and mobilizing others to join in the criticism. Critics argue that cancel culture can sometimes lead to unfair consequences, as individuals may face severe backlash without due process or an opportunity for redemption. Proponents, on the other hand, see cancel culture as a way to hold people accountable for their actions and promote positive societal change. While cancel culture has been effective in raising awareness about important social issues and fostering accountability, it has also sparked debates about the balance between free speech, forgiveness, and the potential for online outrage to escalate beyond reasonable measures. The impact of cancel culture continues to evolve, shaping conversations about accountability and responsibility in the digital age. Circulus was an unusual idea created by a man Pierre Leroux in the 1800s. Leroux was a French thinker who believed that the solution to food shortages and poverty lay in something unexpected: human poop. He suggested that instead of throwing away our waste, the government should collect it and use it as a fertilizer for crops. Leroux argued that human excrement had special properties that could greatly improve agricultural production, preventing a disaster where there wouldn't be enough food for everyone. In simple terms, Leroux thought that if people collected their poop and gave it to the government as a tax, agricultural production would double, and poverty would disappear. He believed there was a natural law that connected human waste to the growth of crops, and if this cycle, or circulus, was followed, it would balance out the increase in population's need for food. Leroux introduced this idea in 1834, and despite facing ridicule, he stuck to it. Even during his exile in Jersey, he conducted experiments using his own poop as fertilizer to convince local authorities to adopt his circulus theory. While many people made fun of Leroux, he did find support from fellow exile Victor Hugo, a famous writer. Although Hugo's sewer ideas were inspired by another thinker and not exactly the same as Leroux's, they both believed in the potential benefits of managing human waste differently to improve society. Alright, now we're on to tier 5, which starts off with cold fusion, which is a scientific idea that suggests generating energy by fusing atoms at room temperature, contrary to the extreme heat required in traditional nuclear fusion reactions. The concept gained attention in 1989 when two electrochemists, Martin Fleischmann and Stanley Pons, claimed to have observed excess heat during an experiment involving deuterium, a type of hydrogen, in a palladium electrode. This raised hopes for a clean and abundant energy source. However, the scientific community faced challenges replicating the results, and skepticism arose due to the lack of a consistent and reliable experimental outcome. Many scientists couldn't reproduce the claimed excess heat, leading to controversy and skepticism around the validity of cold fusion. The term cold fusion itself can be misleading, as it implies low temperatures, but the process involves materials at the atomic level experiencing high energy. Over the years, research into cold fusion has continued, with some researchers proposing different theories and approaches. However, mainstream scientific consensus remains skeptical about the feasibility of cold fusion as a practical and reliable energy source. In summary, cold fusion is an idea suggesting nuclear fusion reactions at room temperature, potentially offering a revolutionary clean energy source. Despite initial excitement, challenges in replicating experimental results and skepticism within the scientific community have hindered its acceptance as a viable energy solution. Ongoing research explores various approaches, but as of now, cold fusion remains a controversial and unproven concept. The intelligence quotient, or IQ, is a measure used to assess human intelligence. It's like a score that helps us understand how well someone can solve problems, learn new things, and adapt to different situations. IQ tests are designed to evaluate various cognitive abilities, such as logical reasoning, mathematical skills, language comprehension, and memory. The scores are often normalized, with an average score set at 100. Scores above 100 indicate above average intelligence, while scores below 100 suggest below average intelligence. IQ tests are not perfect, and many factors can influence the results, including cultural background, education, and socioeconomic status. Despite these limitations, IQ tests are widely used in psychology and education to help understand cognitive abilities and potential learning difficulties. The concept of intelligence, however, is broad and can't be entirely captured by a single number. Some critics argue that IQ tests don't consider creativity, emotional intelligence, or practical skills. Others highlight the importance of multiple intelligences, acknowledging that people can excel in different areas beyond what traditional IQ tests measure. It's important to use IQ scores with caution and consider them as just one tool among many for understanding a person's abilities. Intelligence is a complex and multifaceted trait, and no single test can fully capture the richness of human cognitive abilities. Water-fueled cars is a topic that has garnered attention and speculation over the years. In simple terms, the idea suggests using water as a fuel source for cars, which sounds intriguing but is often met with skepticism from the scientific community. The basic premise involves a process called electrolysis, where water is split into hydrogen and oxygen using an electric current. The idea is to use the hydrogen produced during the process as a fuel for the car. However, it's crucial to note that this process requires more energy to separate the water into its components than the energy gained by burning the hydrogen as fuel. This means it doesn't serve as a true energy source, but rather a carrier of energy. Several challenges hinder the practicality of water-fueled cars. Firstly, the energy input required for electrolysis often comes from conventional energy sources like electricity, which might be derived from non-renewable resources. Additionally, storing and transporting hydrogen can be complex and poses safety concerns. While the concept of using water as a fuel source is alluring, the current scientific consensus is that it's not an efficient or practical solution for powering cars. Researchers and engineers continue to explore alternative sustainable energy solutions for the automotive industry, with a focus on improving efficiency and reducing environmental impact. Wind turbine syndrome is a controversial concept that suggests a range of adverse health effects associated with the proximity of wind turbines. Some individuals claim to experience symptoms such as headaches, dizziness, sleep disturbances, and other health issues when living near these structures. Numerous studies and reviews have been conducted to investigate the alleged health effects of wind turbines, and the majority of reputable research has found no direct link between the operation of wind turbines and the reported symptoms. Experts assert that these symptoms may be more related to psychological factors, pre-existing health conditions, or even the nocebo effect, where people anticipate negative effects and consequently experience them. Wind turbines are devices designed to convert wind energy into electricity, offering a clean and renewable energy source. Despite their environmental benefits, debates around potential health impacts have fueled public concern and opposition to wind farm developments. It is crucial to approach discussions about wind turbine syndrome with a critical mindset, considering the lack of scientific consensus and the potential influence of other factors on reported health effects. Unilineal evolution is an old idea in anthropology that suggests all societies follow a single line of cultural development, progressing from simple to complex forms. This theory implies that different cultures evolve along a predetermined path, with some societies considered more advanced or civilized than others. According to unilineal evolution, societies are classified into stages, often categorized as savagery, barbarism, and civilization. In this framework, it is assumed that all cultures move through these stages in a linear fashion. For example, a society is thought to start as savage and gradually progressed to a higher level of cultural complexity. However, modern anthropologists and scholars criticize unilineal evolution for its oversimplification and ethnocentric biases. Critics argue that it fails to consider the diversity and complexity of human cultures and their unique histories. Many societies did not follow a linear path of development, and the idea of a single, universal progression has been largely discredited in contemporary anthropology. Today, anthropologists emphasize cultural relativism, acknowledging that each society has its own distinct history, values, and ways of life. They reject the notion of a single, predetermined path of cultural evolution, and instead focus on understanding cultures in their own contexts, recognizing the importance of diverse histories and experiences in shaping human societies. Alright, well, hopefully now you know what to say to some of the people you may encounter in your life who have delved into the world of any of the mentioned pseudoscience fields. If you enjoyed this journey into the iceberg of pseudoscience, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to stay updated on all our future expeditions. See you around!